Hello everyone, Father Louis coming at you on this breezy June morning, the 1st of June, Monday, June 1st, to give you a little visual understanding about how we'll go about opening the church for public Mass. Written explanations are good, audio is good. Sometimes people just like to see what's going on. So here we are to begin our little excursion on how the church will open at door 1. Door 1, that little roundabout on the southwest portion of the church building, will be where we'll go in and where we'll go out. We're doing that to try to minimize the walking past each other, the cross-contamination, if you will, the limiting of surfaces being touched. We're trying to do it for your safety, for order, for everything, right? So here we are at door 1. And maybe just a couple more reminders before we actually go into the church about whether or not we should be there in the first place. So let's think to ourselves some questions that we might ask before we come to Mass. Number 1, am I over 65 or in a high-risk group? And if I am, should or should I not come to Mass? That's a question. We leave that up to your prudence. Number 2, am I living in a household with someone in a high-risk group or above 65? Am I coming into contact with them on a normal basis? And if so, should I be coming to Mass? These are questions that you'll have to ask yourselves and that you'll have to figure out for yourselves. But here we are again at door 1. And we can't wait to see you. Why don't we do a little walkthrough here at the start of our tour. Here we are at door 1. We're making sure that we are maintaining proper social distancing between the families, and we enter. You have to excuse me, I'm gonna quick grab the doorstop because I don't want rioters coming in here. All right, so here we are. Here's the first thing that we're greeted with. Please sanitize your hands, and masks must be on at all times. Again, we just asked this for your safety. And so here we go. Let's sanitize up before we enter the church. We'll wait at those stations as well for our lovely staff person to call us forward. There'll be lines of people getting in. And so we'll just alternate one family from this side, one family from the other station, and we'll be greeted by our lovely staff person here to help us with all of our needs. And so we come in and we head to the doorway of the church. We see these stanchions here. We don't want to be going off track. We just make our way to the entrance of the church. Right here we'll be greeted by one of our lovely ushers. We're so grateful for them. We're grateful for their guidance here during this time. And we plan on following all of their instructions. We are so grateful for their help because we really can't do it without the help of you volunteers. So we'll be greeted by an usher right here and pointed to where we need to go. There'll be an usher right there to help us along. An usher on the far side as well. We like their directions because we'll be filling up the church in a particular manner, so as to limit the walking past each other, the cross-contamination, if you will. We want to limit, as best as we can, the risks. And so we'll actually be filling up the church at the farthest end first. They'll be filling in the farthest ends from the front of the church to the back. Every third pew is opened, and 2 out of every 3 are blocked off by these little purple ropes. Please do not touch those. Those are there to make sure the pews are marked off. Also, within the pews themselves, we have little signs to remind us to keep distance between the households. Each pew will have one family unit on one side, space in between this little blue line of death that we're not to cross, and then a family on the other side. That is set up so that the family, this social group, can leave right on their edge and not have to walk by anyone else. You can enter and exit your pew with no problem that way. So here we are in our pews. We'll be filling them in, and now Mass begins. Mass will proceed as normal. Maybe an interesting point to note is that with our music, we'll be asking that you do not sing. Right? We don't want to be spewing particles of water. I don't know about you, but maybe that's the best for me. You never can tell. So we'll refrain from singing. We'll have our lovely musicians lead us in instrumental pieces. Another point to note is that during Mass itself, we will not be distributing communion. After the final blessing, Father will go and take off his chasuble, right, that robe that he wears, and he'll put on this special hand sanitizer holster that I've made, patent pending, right? And then Father will come and we'll start distributing communion at the pews closest to the doors, sort of like an airplane when we leave here, right? Those closest to the exits will leave first. And so here we are, about to give communion. We'd ask that you would have kept your masks on all of Mass. Now that it's time for communion, we'd ask that you kneel or sit, but that you would place your hands on the pew in front of you, nice and wide and flat, so that Father can place the host in your hands without touching them. Right? We want to be safe. And so what Father will do is he'll take the rope, he'll put it down, he'll give out communion, the body of Christ, the body of Christ, the body of Christ. Oh, I touched your hand. Quick, let me sanitize. The body of Christ. And he'll move on down the pew to the next family unit. The body of Christ, the body of Christ. And we'll proceed in this zigzag pattern up and down the pews, up and down the pews, so that everyone can receive, station to station, up and down the pews. Once you have received communion, we again turn to the instructions of our ushers. They will be there to signal you to come out so that we could process out of church here in an orderly fashion. We'll proceed out the way we came, through door number 1. Just a little reminder too that after we leave, even though we might not be in church anymore, we'd still ask that you refrain from greeting your friends, of congregating in groups. You know, we love community, but we can try to do it in a safe way, 6 feet apart or by the safety of your cars. We just once again ask that you maintain social distancing. Right, and so here we are at the end of our tour. It seems like there's a lot of rules, Father. Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. And it was quite a headache, if I say so myself, to come up with this process. And it may not be perfect, probably isn't, but we really, really appreciate your cooperation with us during this extraordinary time. We appreciate your patience with us, and we ask for all that we can. All of your prayers, all of your kindnesses towards us are very much appreciated. And really, we really, really cannot wait to be together with you again as a body of Christ, to worship together, but in a safe way. We also look forward to that. And I just smashed my microphone. Anyways, God bless you. We can't wait to see you. And if you're nervous about coming, about this process here, don't worry about it. Sometimes you just need to walk through it a couple times before we get the hang of it. So, looking forward to seeing you. Peace. God bless you.